Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another TVG morning show. This is a show where we speak to Paarl and Wellington people doing amazing things, following their passion, really doing really amazing things. I'm sure if you follow the Village Guy on the different social media platforms, you can see they keep me quite busy because, there's just a lot of people in Paarl doing pretty things. Good morning, Judith.
Good morning, Miles, and good morning, Village family. It's so lovely to have you in the living room again this Friday morning. We just love having you in our space and having coffee with you and breakfast in the morning, before we go ahead into the weekend.
Yes, I'm liking the new hairstyle.
Thank you. It's, what do you think, Alicia Keys vibe?
Yeah, I would say sing something, but no. So what happens on the morning show, we do it every Tuesday and Friday between 8 and 9 in the morning. And we live stream it to Facebook and we live stream it to YouTube.
Yes.
And like Judith says, where else can we get this?
So you can go on the website, www.thevillageguy.co.za, and that's where you can find all the interviews and inspiring stories. And the nice thing about that is that if you want to go and watch a specific interview, we have the different segments of the different interviews, so you can just go and click and watch your interview that you
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So cool, very cool content. So today, who's your guest?
So I have Annegret Erasmus today, and she's from the Breitenbach Syndrome. She's the curator there.
Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Breitenbach Syndrome, what they're doing there. And then also they have bursaries that they're giving out to art students. So we're going to dig into that a little bit.
Cool. For those that don't know, where is Breitenbach Syndrome?
So Breitenbach Syndrome is in Wellington.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with Breitenbach Syndrome, which I'm sure a lot of people are, but if you don't know what it's about, so Breitenbach Syndrome is where there is, it's a cultural centrum where you basically, they give training in arts, music, and writing skills and all of that, those good things. Yeah.
Cool, nice. On my side, as always, we always have exciting guests on the show. So I've got two. I'm speaking to actor Lee Root, and then of course I'm also speaking to in sport. Dean and I are speaking to Sean Erasmus. So Lee Root, he caught my attention. He was on something called Locked Up Abroad, and he was a cartel drug boss type of person with a voice and the hair. So I just want him to do that scene for us here, so we can use it for
I would
future
love
purposes.
to see that.
And then also Sean Erasmus, doesn't need any introduction in the rugby fraternity. He's the coach of Paarl Boys' first team, and we're going to chat a bit about his journey and why he's back in Paarl.
Okay, cool.
So guys, get comfortable, and then we'll see you shortly. We'll chat and move over to Lee Root.
Okay, get your coffee and join us.
Good morning, Mr. Root.
Goedemorgen.
Hoe gaan het?
Vallei-kerel, van die wereld.
Drug cartel boss. How was that feeling to do? I mean, you fit the picture?
Nee, dat is altijd zo als ik die international goed doe. Vooral, je lijkt een beetje Mexican, kan je een beetje praten. Porque nosotros aún somos... schiet die rol voor me. Maar dat is gewoonlijk zo. Ik speel baie rassen zoals Mongolians, Portuguese dudes, Arabic guys. In Zuid-Afrika is ik gewoonlijk net die scholie.
Guys, those of you joining, I'm speaking to Lee Root. He's of course an actor, and I always have a lot of respect for the people in the culture and the theatre in Paarl and Wellington. We also know COVID had a massive impact on all the theatre and live acts. So I always wanted to get him on the show, but after I saw it, it's probably one of my favorite shows. I think previously it was called Banged Up Abroad, now one is Locked Up Abroad. I'd never missed it. And I saw him and I thought, wow, this must be so amazing. So, sê gou vir ons, hoekom acting? Waar het dit begin? Is dit in die huis in?
Alles begin hier in die Parel. Nou is een paar Bruce Lee movies.
Or die extra by Planet 8?
Ja.
Yeah.
Er was in between die scenes, maar dan zijn we jou stingduit gemaakt. Hij brood met iets subs in en guava juice met astros. En preekte zijn we allerlei moe.
Yeah.
Maar dat is dezelfde reden waarom ik begin het met martial arts. Dezelfde reden waarom ik acteer is omdat ik Bruce Lee gekeken heb toen ik jong was. En die Jackie Chan en die Jet Li. So dat is die Shakespearean actors wat me inspired. Even though ik bij van Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Dat was die mijn reden. Als ik ernstig nou moet wees.
So hoe was die huishoud? I mean, was jou ma, jou pa, is hulle ook theater-oriënteerd en actresses?
Nee, regtig nie, maar hulle het my altyd support. Toe ek groot geraak het, hulle het toe ek begin het met karate en kickboxing, het altyd kom kyk.
Okay.
Ek het op een stadium die Paarl wisseltrofee ook gewen.
Okay,
so.
nice.
Maar ja, dat het ook gemaakt dat ik een huis actually geërfd het van mijn opa. Die eerste keer toen hij mij zien fight het, toen is die fight zo great geweest. Ja, toen denk allemaal hij maakt een joke. Maar toen heeft hij actually die huis in mijn naam
wow.
Hij het veranderd zo wel.
Okay, cool.
So, dus ook hij zit in die Kaap. En ook dat mij gehelp om acteur te worden.
Ja. Maar dan zeg vir my, wanneer jy gerealiseer ek gaan nou 'n akteur word, wat is my feeling of iets het gebeur of iemand het wat jy 'n audition gekry?
Ik heb een keer teruggekomen ik heb laat gekomen in die game. Ik was in Londen voor zo'n jaar en een half, 2 jaar.
Hoekom was ons in Londen?
En werk, ja, dat weet moest allemaal gaan.
Okay. Bietjie ponde verdien.
Ja, ik heb lekker geld gemaakt, maar dit het gevoel dat ik leven niet. En ik heb net het gevoel, why not? We strijden het uit. Misschien kan ik iets maken. En het was niet makkelijk. Ik begin was met theater en al die andere goedes. Want baie mensen weet die goed wat acteurs deurgaan. Ons sien vir die ook ja op die TV. Dit is die mense die jare se grinding en hustling en al die goeders agter hulle.
En dis so ek sê, ek het so baie respek van amper so jy sien iemand op Arendsvlei, maar jy weet nie, 10 jaar gevat om daar te kom nie.
Ja, en die traveling shows wat die ouens moet doen, hulle moet self die eie stage manager ook wees. Al die ouens kom uit die grind en jy kan net sommer sien as jy met van die ouens se werk.
Okay. So wat is highlights? I mean, wat is die highlights van Lee Rood se acting career?
Ek weet nie, dis amper om te vra, so wat jou favorite songs wat. Nee, ik begin met die Saturday Varsity met Abdurrahman Adams en
oh nice.
Tori Jenkins wat later ook die ITMSA opgemaakt het. Was het contemporary goed gedaan, maar ook gespecialiseerd in Shakespeare en classical Greek.
Okay.
En een van die unique methods wat hulle gedoen het was voor ons om actually in die prisons te gaan en Shakespeare daar te doen. Want als je die ouens kan laten verstaan, dan kan je voor enig iemand laten verstaan. Maar dat is de eerste keer dat ik begin lief raken voor Shakespeare. Dat is altijd, als ik het gekeken heb, het was alles nice, die acting is amazing, maar ik kon niet relate. En ook om te zien hoe die ouens reacted toe hulle actually zien.
Ja.
Is actually ouens wat Shakespeare in hulle taal kan doen.
Ja.
Is iets anders geweest. En om van hulle ook te zien. As hulle ook voor die judge staan en hulle word ook is 'n goeie manier van rehabilitation as well as jy net kon speel vir 'n sportjie of die nie, sy word actually behandel soos 'n akteur en sy word gejudge net op die, nie met enigiets anders nie.
En 'n favorite Shakespeare boek?
Othello. Kom my ons naam Othello is.
Okay. Nog even gou you must know they always have these, I don't know what you call it, but not poems, but they've got the 3 lines where people say in a movie. So what is yours? But I want that feeling. I want that feeling of Othello.
Nee man, ik kan mij nog zo op die spot zetten.
Dit was acteur, mos kom.
Nee, ik kan niet. Ik zal hele mics bars als ik.
Okay.
As ek my ware stem gebruik.
Okay, zeg maar my this international thing that you did with the drug cartel, how did that come about? Hoe het dit gebeur?
Die is net soos normaalweg gebeur. Jy kry audition, as jy die look fit en hulle hou van jou goeders en dan kry jy die rol. Baie keer is dit per ongeluk. Ek het actually die een rol nou die Warrior TV series moes ek gekry dit, maar toe is ek nie available nie. Maar ek het per ongeluk, ek het 'n pie gehad. Toe gaan ek vra ek wel of ek binne kan kopie by 'n klein teatertjie. Toe is hulle actually besig met auditions.
Okay.
En die casting director vra my, hoekom kon audition jy nie?
Oh wow.
Maar toe is dit omdat my agent gesê ek is nie available nie. Maar toe soek hulle iemand wat Mexican looking is en wat actually kan fight.
Yeah.
Dus wel, het enige fight experience? Ik heb
Yeah.
een paar decades, niet een paar jaren, zo fight experience. Maar dat is ook hoekom ons besig is met hierdie projek nou.
Okay. Maar waar het jy dit geskiet? Want het lyk baie soos 'n Mexican type of vibe. Waar het jy dit geskiet?
Wat?
Die international, die Locked Up Abroad ene.
Nee, hy was hier in Meitling.
Okay, cool.
Baie van die goed is skiet hulle so in by het ek al Meitling. Ek het een keer 'n pilot vir 'n Warner Brothers ding geskiet toe kan met so 'n alien besigheid. Ek kan nie onthou wat die ding se naam is nie.
Sê my hoe belangrik is 'n agent? Want ons praat altyd met die sportmense, die kids wat nou baie volle talent het en hulle kom hierso en hulle speel rugby en hulle klaar met matriek. Dan kom die agente na hulle toe. Van ons het laasweek ook vir Shafiq Maton gehad wat ook 'n agent is en hy sê hoe kat is dit maar in the movie industry, how important is it to have an agent?
Dit is baie belangrik en jy moet ook is ook belangrik om 'n agent te hê wat actually weet om vir jou te gebruik.
Nou, hoe select die mens?
Iemand wat weet watter kategorie jy inpas.
Okay.
Want nie almal is models nie. Soos ek weet as hulle vir my gaan vra vir iets.
Ja.
Hulle draag ek is alweer nou ook vir iets. Alweer 'n drug dealer of ek is 'n heavy metal dude of 'n biker. Maar as dit historical pieces is, dan weet ek soos ook een van die National Geographics, soos een van Genghis Khan se descendants, Shangal Gal. Weet ek, okay, dis die kategorie wat jy inval.
Ja.
Soos dit maak nie saak ek kan 'n prokureur speel, 'n dokter, maar ek lyk nie soos verstaan jy?
Nee.
Waar gaan dit nou so? Kyk jy.
Ja. En so wat op nou besig? Wat is die projekte? So 2022, we're in February now. She's at the end already. What's happening?
Ons is nou actually besig met 'n vriendin van my, Anna Marie, sit vir Merch Media. Was sy production coordinator, maar sy's nou op haar eie. Toe het hulle vir my approach. Hulle wil die een screenplay van my in 'n film maak. En dit is as dit nou alles goed uitspeel, gaan dit die eerste martial arts film in Suid-Afrika wees. Jy was nog nooit so 'n genre nie.
Okay.
En ons het 'n paar ouens, gaan nie hulle name nou noem nie, maar hulle almal was die moment wat sy dit noem, hulle oë gaan net so, want jy kry immediately daai nostalgic feeling van toe jy klein was.
Yeah.
En dit sal so amazing wees om actually so iets in Suid-Afrika te kry. Want ek onthou toe ons almal klein was, na hierdie movies gekyk het soos ek gepraat het, dan ga jy altyd uit en jy practice die snyk vis of die dranken master. En die ding, een van die redes hoekom het so baie
Couching Dragon, what Couching
Tiger.
Dragon?
Maar een van die redes hoekom almal so intrigued is, want it crossed racial barriers en al hierdie goed is van die 1970s afval waar almal in die hol sou kom het, niemand het ge-worry oor hierdie goed is. Hulle het net geweet dieselfde goed wat daar gebeur ook hierso in Suid-Afrika en selfs vandag ook. En op een of ander stadium het ons almal wat ons klein gewees het, as ons uitgegaan het en hy moves gepractice het.
Ja.
Het ons gedink, eendag gaan ek, as ek soos die ouers, dan gaan ek die hero is en dan gaan ek al die gangsters lekker plat slaan. En dit is wat ek wil hê moet gebeur.
Okay.
Maar hierdie keer gaan ons heroes van Suid-Afrika is.
Oh, nice man.
Een van die Paarl is van Dalwyde.
Okay. Van Dalwyde.
Ja.
Nou wanneer is het klaar? Ik kan zeker niet bij je praten, maar wanneer is die production klaar?
Nee, ons is nou besig met die funding prosesse en alles. Ons het 'n paar akteurs gekry van Groenewil, vir Lindsay Rood, vir Eddie en Novenio en wat's die Trevor Mahoney en wat's Ene van Breda, as ek weet of ek self se naam. Maar ons het ook 'n regte fighter, hy gaan by die naam Boran Jardine.
Okay.
En een van die ways wat ek koreograaf is, heeltemal teenoorgestelde. Ek fight die ouens vir reg soos Bruce Lee in die ou dae gemaak het, sodat ons actually sien soos 8 Mile vir die. Net om te sien die natural instinct van ouens wat nie kan fight nie en wat regtig opgelei is om te fight.
Nice.
Hulle offense, hulle defense, so die reaction is baie normaal. En hierdie ouetjie Boran, hy is 'n undefeated K1 kickboxer. So ons het gespaar, maar ek het uitgevind ek en hy is nou amper dieselfde weight class.
Oh wow.
En hierdie man, hy is die record holder van die meeste tails break. Hy man het 'n titanium arm. So is ook net om die martial arts te legitimize dat ons ons nie net van jokes nie, dit is legitimate martial arts. Veral omdat baie mense nou UFC kyk, hulle weet kan voel is maar net 'n klein deeltjie van dit, maar as dit met legitimate sports kom, dan praat ons hier van kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, al daai goed is.
What's the worst part of acting? What's the worst part of being an actor?
The not knowing. Jy weet nooit nie. As jy gaan audition, jy weet net as hulle sê ja, jy weet nooit nie of jy kan nou 'n week wag of 2 maande wag vir hom jou te confirm, jy weet nie. Partykeer as jy jy het 'n rol gekry, waarom praat jy? Okay.
Niemand heeft mij gezien nie.
Ja.
Okay.
Maar alles is ook eventually temporary, unless jy nou permanent op 'n soap is of so, but even dan mense grind ook nog altyd. Maar it's the not knowing, probably, I imagine.
And the most fulfilling thing?
It's also the not knowing. Well, alles is weer exciting. Jy weet nie wat kan nou gebeur nie. Ek wil 'n paar maande terug dinge so wat ek doen het, ek doen Elif, ek doen 'n series hier, kom daar. En nou wat hierdie project, die idee net dat dit kan bestaan, is so amazing. Like, die eerste, en ook weer terug om in die martial arts roots te gaan en al die goed so. Dit is die excitement wat jy in die begin gehad het. Maar soos enige werk, ook in die begin is dit lekker exciting, dan raak jy bietjie, dis die ander ding.
Yeah, so it's up and down pattern. Okay, before we go, give me your cartel voice, the thing that you did on that movie. But you have to say welcome to the TVG morning show.
Jy kan nie uithaal praat.
Do a voiceover. Do anything voiceover. I just want to hear that Mexican accent. Because it was pretty good in the series.
Nee man, ek kan nie. Ek kan mykie Japanese. Ayo gozaimasu, watashi wa Rotoli desu, the village guy.
Cool. What did you say there?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Leroy, and I'm with the village guy.
Cool, man. Dude, thanks so much for your time. All the best for this year with the project. I know you don't want to say anything, but let me know when something's happening, because I see there's a lot of Paarl people in the project.
Obviously, represent, bro.
Yeah. So thanks so much for your time, and good luck for the year. Bye, dankie.
Nee, so plesier. Dankie vir jou, man.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, guys, so Leroy, also actor, following his passion. We're going to move over to Judith, and we're going to speak to a bit about the Breitenbach Syndrome.
Het is so lekker om jou hier te hê vanoggend, Annegret.
Baie dankie vir die voorreg.
Dit is fantasties. If you have just tuned into the show now and you're not really sure what's going on, let me introduce you to Annegret Erasmus, and she's the curator from the Breitenbach Syndrome. And we're just going to have a little bit of a chat with her this morning about just in general about the Breitenbach Syndrome, and then also just your life as Annegret, and then also just a little bit about general questions. So stay tuned. We're going to get into it, and we're going to just have a lovely chat. So grab your coffee. If you haven't had a chance to go and get your coffee, grab your coffee and come and join us. Awesome, Annegret. It's lovely to have you here this morning.
Thank you so much. It's lovely being here.
Are we doing Afrikaans or English this morning?
Both.
Ek ken nie om nie. Okay, lekker. Kom ons doen Afrikaans vanoggend. So ek sien jy's gebore in Pretoria actually.
Ja, ek is gebore Pretoria en toe vinnig teruggegaan weer KwaZulu-Natal toe.
Ladysmith.
Ladysmith en
Natal. So 'n bietjie opgegroei daai kant.
Ja.
Vertel ons so 'n bietjie van Annegret, waar als die kuns en kultuur begin.
Genade. Van kleins af, dit was kuns en drama en dit het my loopbaan geword. Ek het BA drama gedoen by Tikkies.
Ja.
En toe vir die ou streeksrade gespeel by Soekhofs by Truk.
Ja.
Ag, en toe opgeëindig in Botswana waar ek vir die Bob Arts regie en skryfwerk gedoen het. Heerlik. Kaap toe gekom, oorklanking, radiowerk. Nou ja, en toe eindig ek op in Wellington van alle plekke.
Ek was ook soos en toe ek 'n bietjie gaan lees, toe dog ek, het full circle gekom en toe klein plekkie Wellington. En hoe was daai experience vir jou om aan die begin hier in Wellington
te kom? Weet jy, toe ek die eerste dag in Wellington nou inry op 'n Sondagmiddag en dit was so warm. En natuurlik komende van 'n klein dorpie, Ladysmith. Toe sê ek nog vir my man, hierdie plek is nie mooi nie, ek wil nie hier bly nie. Moenie my in hierdie klein bubbeltjie inkry nie. Toe sê ek vir hom, okay, goed, uiteindelik, een voorwaarde. Ek wil 'n groot ou plaashuis hê met plankvloere en dit moet mooi wees, anders te kom ek nie. En toe gebeur dit, en toe eindig ons in Wellington op, maar die hele ding het oor die taal gegaan, hè. Want ons het in Kaapstad in die suidelike voorstede gebly, en my seentjie op daai stadium was by Huppeland, Jan van Riebeeck skool, en ek moes al die pad om die berg ry, Kloofstraat op elke oggend. So jy sit in die kar vir byna 2-3 ure. En my oorlede man was ampikoetsier geweest en hy was letterkundige geweest by UWK en 'n taalaktivis. En hy het net gesê na 'n tikkie gaan sy seentjie Engelse skool toe. En toe is dit een van die hoofbeweegredes hoekom ons ook uiteindelik in Wellington geëindig het.
Okay, fantasties. En hoe het ons opgeëindig by Breitenbach Syndrome?
Dis ook 'n lang storie.
Die short version van dit.
Okay, vinnig. Lang storie hoe die lewe met jou loop. Goed, Ampie was, Ampie, baie betrokke by Breitenbach, by die Breitenbach gesin, alles, en die Breitenbach Sentrum is geleë in Ou Nooi en Ou Baas Breitenbach se ou Lucies huis, hulle boardinghuis. So, die plek het verval, uiteindelik weer aan die munisipaliteit behoort, nadat hulle afgetree het, en toe het mense uit die gemeenskap, jy weet, ons Bolanders is gekultiveerde mense, né? Ja, ek is ook nou 'n Bolander. Uiteindelik. In elk geval, toe het hulle besluit, hierdie moet nou 'n kuns- en kultuursentrum word, ons noem dit die Breitenbach Sentrum, trust gevorm.
Vir iemand wat nie weet nie, why Breitenbach Syndrome, why the name Breitenbach?
Want dit het behoort aan die Breitenbach gesin. En dis nie 'n museum nie, dis 'n lewendige kuns- en kultuursentrum.
Fantasties.
So deur fondse, lotto, wonderlik, dankie, die Ruperts en al daai mense, het hulle hierdie plek kon tot stand bring, en ek is toe gevra, deur een van die trusteelede in 2010, kan jy kurator wees? En komende uit die drama agtergrond sê En nou het dit my passie geword, en dit is fantasties.
En hoeveel jaar doen jy dit nou?
Wel, sedert 2010, dis nou in my 12de jaar, dis lank, né?
Awesome. Vat ons gou deur, hoe lyk 'n tipiese week by Breitenbach Sentrum, as daar nou enige van die events gebeur?
Daar is nie tipiese weke nie.
Okay. Dis uniek elke keer.
Elke dag is iets anderste. Dis heerlik, want dan is dit dagsorgopleiding, dan is dit rekenaaropleiding, dan is dit die kuns, dan is dit die drama, dan is dit 'n opening, dan is dit 'n gesprek. So gaan dit aan, 'n boek, ons het 'n boekklub, en dan is dit die boardinghuis, dan is daar 'n vertoning, hierdie Sondag byvoorbeeld is dit Dani de Tooi van Spoegwolf. Hy tree daar op, en dan Saterdag aand, so gaan dit die hele tyd.
En as enige iemand belangstel om enige van die events of van die goedjies by te woon, waar gaan hulle, wat is die social media websites?
Weet jy,
waar kry hulle inligting?
Goed, kuns, galery, my goeders is Instagram @Breitenbach Galery. Galery met 1 L, dis Afrikaans. Okay. En dan is dit op Facebook. Maar ek is amper meer aktief op Instagram. En dan het ons ook 'n webtuiste, www.Breitenbach Syndrome. En dan is daar ook ek dink die boardinghuis is op. Maar dit sal ook op die Breitenbach Sentrum se sosiale Facebook platform wees.
En obviously vat julle ook tipies walk-ins wat net wil kom instap.
Ja.
Fantasties. So, vertel ons 'n bietjie van ons het gehoor van die beurse wat julle gee.
Weet jy, dit is so opwindend.
Vertel ons.
So, daai COVID woord het ons geslaan, hè. Ons was lank onaktief heen. Ek het baie geleer.
Ja.
Ek kan nou 'n videoetjie maak en
Oeh,
edit en alles
fantasties.
met die hulp van 'n vriendin.
So COVID was nie heeltemal negatief hè?
Nee, dit was eintlik ons het almal so baie geleer.
Ja.
Want dan doen jy 'n aanlyn opening en jy weet dis mense wat praat van maar julle weet mos nou van die TV.
Ja.
Julle kan al hierdie goed doen, maar jy weet ons moet almal leer.
Ja.
En dis mense van reg oor die land wat saam praat en dis heerlik. So ja, om terug te kom na die beurse.
Ja.
Okay. Toe besluit ek verlede jaar doen nou net iets. Nou moet dinge begin verander. Jy kan nie so alles aanlyn nie. En mense smag, ek dink na die interaksie tussen mekaar. Toe begin ek nou met 'n paar idees neerskryf. En een van hulle was die Breitenbach galery en Breitenbach Syndrome moet weer 'n kunstskool begin.
Okay.
En toe kom Debbie Annas na my toe van die Jack Meyer skool. Maak 'n afspraak, sê kan ek dringend met jou praat. Ons soek leerlinge van Wellington, kunststudente, maar mense met potensiaal. Sy vra Debbie, die goeie het nou reg geval vir ons, want wat in jou kop aangaan, gaan in my kop aan. Ek is besig om te soek vir befondsing, wat ook al. Sy sê fantasties. Jack Meyer het nou begin, elke Dinsdag van 14:30 tot omtrent so verskoning 4:30 is daar kunstklasse by die Breitenbach Syndrome. En Jody van die Jack Meyer, sy kom bied dit aan. Maar toe, en nou goed, die idee is, dis graad 8 en 9's.
Okay.
Ons nou besluit, ons gaan dit sommer oopmaak tot by graad 10.
Ja.
12. So, die idee is om talent onder jong mense te vind en hulle te ontwikkel en half ons is 'n voedingsbron vir die Jack Meyer en hulle beurse mense wat jy weet miskien nie die fooie kan betaal wat ook al nou het hulle beurse geskep daarvoor. Maar toe staan nou 'n klop aan my deur. My dogtertjie wil ook. So nou is dit op 'n donderdag het ons die vol spektrum van graad 1 tot graad 7.
Ja, ek wou net vra van die ouderdomsgroepe want ek het so 'n bietjie gesien dis 'n bietjie variety van almal.
Nou wil almal kom en toe gelukkig het iemand na ons toe gekom. Haven Clark, hy was een van die eerste skoolhoofde by Jack Meyer Kunstskool.
Okay.
Sy kleinseun wat toevallig in my galery was met sy oupa se retrospektief nadat hy oorlede is. Hy het kuns geswat. So hy is nou aan boord.
Baie
Nou het mense uit die gemeenskap gesê, wel, ons borg. Ek het al 2 borge vir 2 kindertjies.
Sjoe.
So dis fantasties en verder doen ek nou net aansoek vir befondsing by verskillende instansies.
Ja.
En dan wil ons die einde van die jaar wil ons 'n uitstalling hou vir hulle en miskien 'n almanak maak. Soos die ou Sanlam almanakke.
Oh, dis awesome.
Ja. So wat ons nou voorsoek is mense, kom, sluit by ons aan.
Ja.
Sluit by die kunstskool aan. Ons gaan kyk of ons julle kan help.
Ja.
En ons wil die talent van veral Wellington wil ons nou net ontwikkel.
Ja.
So dis 'n oop uitnodiging, asseblief.
En ons het soveel talent in Wellington in.
Ek weet.
Verskriklike
ek
talent
weet.
in Wellington. En hier is 'n geleentheid nou soos ons vanoggend hoor. So as jy weet van enige iemand en as jy en ek weet is daar enige iemand is wat daar buite is wat graag wil befondsing skenk, kan hulle ook uitreach na jou toe.
Dit sal fantasties wees.
Ja. So kom ons bring dit full circle. Van die een kant af as jy iemand is wat hierdie passie het om te skilder, dan Breitenbach Syndrome is daar. And if you are a business owner or if you want to invest in the future of not just Wellington but also in the Drakenstein in the village,
absolutely,
then you're more than welcome to contact Annegret as she gave her information, and we'll also have it at the end of the show.
Thank you.
It was so fantastic to have you here this morning, and it's so nice to hear that everything that you're doing for the people in the village. Thank you for the work that you put in for all these years. We appreciate it.
No, thank you. Dit was 'n voorreg, hoor. Baie dankie.
Baie dankie Annegret. Dankie julle. So ons gaan op hierdie oomblik dan terug na Milestone. Ons gaan 'n bietjie sport praat. So ja, kom ons gaan terug na Milestone.
We've got a separate section with sport. Our guest today, I mean, really, like I said in the introduction before the show, doesn't really need any introduction in the rugby fraternity. He's Mr. Shaun Erasmus. I was very happy last night when I was busy looking at some of his interviews that he does a fluent English. So I struggled a bit with Lee this morning. I see Judith had something Afrikaans, so we're ending it off in English today, and then Dean will speak Afrikaans. Yeah, I think we're going to circle that side as well. So Shaun Root, I mean, he's been on every single level of coaching in rugby in South Africa, from school to provincial and SA schools. And he's really got a nice story on how, I actually wanted to ask him, how did he get into coaching? I think that's the fascinating story. But then also just, I mean, we have inter-schools this year for Paarl Boys High and Khum. He's the first team coach, and I think they didn't have one. This is the first one in 2 years, 2019, 2020. So it's probably a big thing for a lot of the matriculants this year. So Dean, hoe gaan het eruit?
Ja, soos ek weer sê, is naweek, so kan ek complain.
Mr. Erasmus, thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me, and yes, well done with what you guys are doing for the community. That's awesome.
Yeah, cool, man. Okay, before we start, welcome back to Paarl. I mean, you left us in 2016 and you're back. What is it, the heat that brought you back?
Yeah, no, definitely. Driving here this morning, just experiencing the traffic, it felt like I was back in Joburg again. But yeah, definitely back just for the community and what Paarl always offers. You know, it's just amazing, beautiful place.
Yeah, okay. Before we get, I'm sure a lot of people know it, but probably a lot of people also don't know it. How did you get into coaching? Because that's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
I know you're probably tired of saying it, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, no, so obviously, like every schoolboy, I dreamt of playing professional rugby, and ended up playing club rugby in Harlequins in Durban, and then I hurt my back and my neck playing for the first side one weekend, and yeah, you know, that time my parents were supporting me, and I just felt I needed to do something, so I wanted to go and coach at the local school, Grosvenor Boys, which was right next to our club, and sort of like walked in there the morning, and as I walked in, this guy came like rushing out and sort of bumped into me, and I said, no, sorry, no, apologies, and then he said, can I help you? I said, yeah, you know, I just want to coach a little bit, help out and whatever, and he sort of like whistle in my chest type of thing, congratulations, you're the new first team coach, you know, sort of thing. And I was like, you know, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but when do I start? He looked at his watch, goes, couple of hours time, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, so started like that, and always say to people, still have good contact with the players. I was sitting on the side there, and the guys, it's like a big surfing community, and you know, like the guys are, they were playing rugby, but I think they're probably better surfers, but sort of sitting there on the side, and the guys were talking like, you know, I believe this oak's quit, who's the new clown?
Yeah.
And I just sat and listened, and then when 3 o'clock came, blew the whistle, I said, I'm the new clown, let's get on the line.
Oh, no.
I ran them pretty hard the day, and yeah, that's how it all started, and just amazing
Yeah,
journey.
I mean, if I looked at, I read some of your stuff as well. You had a very successful schoolboy rugby coaching career. So give us a bit about just teaching. I mean, we're going to chat about Paarl Boys High and Khum, because that's probably very big in South Africa. But where you were, I mean, Glenwood also, you were there as well. What you're doing differently that you have. I mean, Glenwood was nothing to something to a certain extent. Yeah. What do you do different? And is it probably just a passion that is flowing through the veins? Yeah,
I think, you know, like playing school rugby, I had a coach that I looked up to. You know, we talk often about it at school now, Paul. You know, like we are basically proxy dads. You know, we spend more time with the boys than most dads do. You know, we spend more time with the boys. So for me, I think my thing has always been, I want to be that special person for that boy in the school. I want to be that father figure, that person that he can talk to anything. So I think relationships are really important. Before you coach the technical aspect of the game, you've got to work with the person. You know, good people make good rugby people. Rugby players make good people everywhere. So I think that's just always been my passion. I enjoy spending time with the boys. So, you know, always got a plan on tour, always got something planned or something, you know. Always talk about when we go on tour travel, I never tell them where we're going. We're always going to camp nowhere, you know, like try and get them excited, you know, and make it something. And that's how I was brought up. And that's just something that I like to get over to the boys as well. It must be something that they look forward to every day.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I think with the school boys, like my son also plays soccer, it's like they take it too serious and they miss the fun. Because
100%.
we were at the match on Sunday and I told him, like everybody there was, I think they were losing like 5-0. And I'm like, they all walked off the field and I said, guys, it doesn't look like you're having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially with rugby in South Africa, the kids must be so serious about it. It needs someone to say, guys, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, at your top 20 school level, yes, there's a lot of pressure as it is, you know, and everybody feels that their son is good enough to be a professional player one day, and I think that pressure a lot of times comes onto the boys, and then you just don't see that full potential. That's why you have all those late developers, you know, that just come through right at the end, because that pressure is just off and they're just enjoying it.
Okay, so we had school level, and then we moved over to, I think you did the essay under 19 as well with Lance Sinden, also from Paul. So how was that experience as well, from school level to such a setup?
Yes, you get emotional just thinking about it. I remember getting my first SA Schools blazer. It's just surreal, you know. It just is so special, you know, when you see guys doing the anthem on rugby games and you see the tears coming and that raw emotion. It's all there when you get your first blazer. So for me, it was no different. I grew up in Escort, very small town. When I left there, a lot of people said I'd never make it. You know, it's just sort of like that feeling when you put that blazer on. It's almost like, wow, you know, this is just that nice step up. You know, it's just perfect. So with God's grace and everything, you just got that opportunity. And you know, when you line up for that first test against England or Wales, and they sort of singing their anthem, and there's all that emotion, and it's just so special.
And I think we actually miss that, because we're always looking at the players that are getting the blazers, but I mean, there are achievements of background people also getting like, they're becoming a Springbok coach type of thing.
So special. So special.
Okay, so we came to Paul. I mean, so I think you're probably one of the most successful Paul coaches. I mean, they were unbeaten for quite some time. How did it come? Did Paul phone you? What, do you have other offers?
I was actually with Glenwood at that time, and I'd been with Glenwood for 10 years, started up the sports academy, got everything going there, and working with really good people. You know, Tony Pinheiro, Andre Barnes, really good leadership there. Those people really shaped me and helped me become the person that I am. And then we actually played Wildeklaver, we played Paul Boys, Thomas de Toy was the captain.
Okay.
And we narrowly sort of pipped them.
Wow.
And then just coincidentally, somebody on the side of the field asked me, you know, would you ever leave Glenwood? Would you ever go somewhere else? And if so, where would you go? And I said, yes, you know, just experiencing the gentlemanship and the sportsmanship of how Paul Boys, you know, sort of carried themselves through this game in a loss as well, you know, how they sort of handled themselves. Paul would be like right on the top of my list. And 2 weeks later, I was doing my level 3 in Stellenbosch, and I got a phone call asking if I'd come and apply.
What?
And from there, the rest is history. It just got that opportunity, and, you know, brought my wife here the first time. We still stayed in Roodeberg guest house the first time we were here, and we just walking down the main street, we just felt like this is where we want to bring up our children. This is where we want to be.
What, I mean, you, of course, after that, you moved to the Lions, but I just want to ask you, what is it like coaching like Paul Boys High, which is like a big team in South Africa, and the pressure, like you mentioned as well, and there's inter-schools as well. I mean, that year is not only special from a matric perspective for some kids, but I mean, inter-schools at that school is massive. What's the experience of entering into this, what you call it, this rugby, like historical, cultural rugby school?
I must say, my first year coming from Glenwood, I tried to do things the way that I did in Durban, and then walking into Forest Street that first time, I was like, wow, okay. You know, everybody said it's big and it's exciting and there's a lot of people, but when I walked into Forest Street that day, I mean, I still got goosebumps. I think about it, and I think, yes, that was special. That's crazy. I mean, you've never seen that at schoolboy level before. But I think, you know, what makes it worthwhile and what makes it sort of work and take the pressure off, I've really been surrounded by good people that coach with me and worked with me. You know, all my assistant coaches, we talk about ourselves as a family, you know, and we absorb that pressure together. We just, you know, work together, and it's never a one-man show. It's never ever been that, you know. It's never been about Sean Erasmus. It's been about Paarl boys, the family and the coaching group and the boys. That's what it's all been about, yeah.
And you and Gim's coach, I mean, do you have like coffee together every now and again and discuss teams?
Yeah, I remember when I came to Paarl, I bumped into him in one of the shops and I said, hey, we must have a braai together. And he sort of like looked at me like, and I thought, well, I thought it was the done thing in Paarl, so we should have a braai together. But no, Peter and I actually get along quite well. He's a good man, he's a good coach, and I respect him.
Yeah, 100%. Before we go on to Sean,
Ik het een vraag persoon was nog niet op mijn lijstje. Soos Baas heeft gezegd, op schoolvlak, rugby level, of als je zien bij veral bij boys, als hij daar niet gekomen, is het graad
11. Ja, graad 11, ja.
Als hij graad 11 kom je, dan krijg je contract maken we bij Sharks.
Ja.
Op mijn ogenblik heeft hij nog geen agent. Is het verplichting voor de coach om voor jou om de goede besluiten te maken of met zijn oorzaak?
Ja, ek sê altyd vir die seuns, ek hou daarvan om deel te wees van daai hele proses. Want dis vir my belangrik. Ek dink ek het nou redelik baie ervaring gehad. Ek was by die Sharks gewees in my tyd. Ek nou 'n bietjie by WP junior strukture en by die Lions nou. So ek hou daarvan om betrokke te raak by dit, want ek wil graag goeie advies gee. Ek dink dit is belangrik om vir kinders goeie advies te gee, want jy weet op daai ouderdom staan dit 9 graad 11. Ek dink ja, jy sien dit neek regtig met jou kop. Jy weet, tensy iemand vir jou goeie leiding gee. Maar ek moet sê daar's baie goeie agente op die oomblik wat met die kinders werk en hulle werk goed met die kinders en gee dis goeie geleenthede wat hulle vir die kinders bied. Maar ja, ek sê altyd vir die ouers asseblief kom gesels en kom ons werk saam. Wat jy nie wil hê nie is 'n ouetjie kry al 'n geleentheid in graad 11 en dan in sy laaste jaar is hy nie daar nie, want hy dink hy's nou al klaar, jy weet, he's arrived already.
Yeah.
So jy wil net daai geleentheid hê om te werk en te sê, yes, well done, jy het hom verdien tot nou hierso. Nou moet ons eers begin hard werk, want nou begin die harde werk.
Die rede hoekom ek vraag, ek was in graad 11 geweest, toe ek akademie gekry by Virginia Sports Academy.
Ja.
En welkom. Die leiding was, kan ek sê, toe ons daar kom, toe was dit gebel om te sê ons kan kom.
Ja.
Akademie was daar geweest. Maar as ek sê, soos soort van gesê, die vader was hier, was hier te gaan. Was hier opstaan, speel, en die ding, dat waar baie mense die beste van die akademie.
Ja.
Van ons het die leiding gehad en enigste ons het net 3 spelers wat van die akademie wat nog vandag uitstaan, was so solid bedrag.
Ja.
Wat samen ons daar ook spelen wat we gemaakt hebben. Maar soos ek sê, het is moeilijk voor een seun van buitenaf as hy nie alle vaardige figuur of agent dit.
Ja. Ja, ek moet sê ons het in daai akademie gespeel. Daai julle was 'n klomp talentvolle manne gewees in daai akademie. Dit was amazing geweest. Maar soos jy sê, ek meen ek het baie gepraat daarvan by die Lions ook, jy weet. Jy vat 'n ouetjie nou uit 'n skoolomgewing en waar hy 24 uur se lewe beplan is vir hom eintlik. En daar is 'n figuur daar wat leiding gee en vir hom sê, jy weet, kom hierso, wees daar, jy weet. En nou ewe skielik in wanneer jy in die pro dinge gaan, jy weet, hier is jou salaris, dis wat jy voorbetaal word, sien jou so laat. En alles tussenin is vir hulle om te doen wat hulle wil. En as daar nie goeie leiding is, dan val die man 'n bietjie van die bus af. Jy weet, so ek dink ons het al baie talent so verloor net met dit.
Okay, so what are the sport? I mean, this weekend we had some Paarl cricket, we had Parijskloof cricket, and there was rugby.
Ja, dan ek het maar soos ek dan sê die scores het gesit en ek het net die fietsers vanmôre, dis 'n hele paar op my lys. Pero Oost teen Begraafvuur môre en dan sit Parel teen Van der Stel, Drakensberg Edio teen Wemazoek en Peoples teen die Pero Oost speel môre tuis teen Begraafvuur en dan Cornelius weg. Parel speelt in Van der Stel weg en Drakensberg Edio weg. People speelt in de Wit is van Woester.
Okay.
En dis ook aan Woester. En hulle speel tuis en as dit Queen teen Klapmuts.
Okay, cool.
Ja. En dan is dit ek sien Roses se game teen Durbel.
Ja.
As op Newton se veld. So as twee derby.
But that's a nice game. Durbel's a big team.
Best was Super League uit.
Oh wow.
En Roses is amper soos 'n Boland se Super League uit soos.
Ja.
En hulle speel op Newton se veld en so.
Wen die naweek.
Dis môre ja.
Oh wow.
En dan hulle speel op Newton Village se veld, is die veld in jou regterkant.
Ja.
En dan sit Newtons en Hillcrest, dan is 'n groot derby in Wellington.
Ja.
Hy het games is langs mekaar en dan ja, hy is en dit is nou die Super Pacific, die rugby wat vandag begin, Waratahs teen Fijian. En dat is vanaand Griek was in die VP. Volgens Sonny Erasmus vir
Ek wou jou gevra het, waar sit ons geld vir vanaand?
Griek was in die VP. Ek sien Griek was as die favorites in daai een, vir wie sal so na.
Ja, yes, ek moet sê Ek dink die Karibeker op die oomblik vir die groot spanne is baie jonk want baie van die ander spelers speel in die URC op die oomblik. So Griquas, die Pumas, daai manne, hulle en Cheetahs, jy weet, dis vol spanne, dis vol sterkte spanne. En Griquas hou daarvan om dit te wil sag maak. Hulle wil sag maak, jy weet, so maar ek dink as weer by die tempo kan hou, gaan dit nogal interessant wees.
Ek het vanoggend hulle span gekyk, die backline lyk baie goed.
Ja. En dis die ding, as weer begin hardloop, dan raak dit nag vir mense.
En dan gister is dit 'n paar Rocksoms teen die Warriors. Die Warriors het nog een game gewen in die CAA Championship cricket. Paar Rocks wen hulle het 170 geskor en Warriors 156. Hy was 'n lekker game geweest.
Dis mos nou die T20
yes,
national.
En Rocks wen met 3 wickets en die Titans en Lions het ook gespeel by die Titans met 7 wickets. Maar op die oomblik is dit die Proteas wat 'n slegte toer het. Hulle eerste dag was dit eers 95, eerste dag en dan is dit voor
95 all out.
All out.
Ja,
Ja,
dat
Jo.
all out.
95 all out.
In die dag 2 het New Zealand voor 82 geskor. Dag 2 hulle dit voor stammes is almal uitgebou. En Suid-Afrika so 'n tydjie terug staan Suid-Afrika 34-3. Hulle 350, hulle trail met 353. Ek dink is baie gaan 'n moeilike taak.
Een van ons beste batsmen is hier by die huis. So
Ja. KP.
Ja.
Hy paar jaar by die Dolphins. Skoor 50 of 50.
Sean, okay, so tell us the plans 2020. Of course, 2022, big year, inter-schools is up.
Yes.
I had a fascinating chat with one of the teachers as well, and they said they can see there's a massive physical difference with the fitness of kids because of the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And of course, I also wanted to ask you, how are the other kids that didn't play inter-schools? Like, you probably have them a year. How they ended
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the group is basically made up now of the under 15s. The last time they played inter-schools, they're now the first team.
Wow.
So, you know, so now when you work with them, you can just see fundamentals and just the catch and pass, all the basics are really missing. You know, we're just working really hard on getting that done. Nothing fancy, nothing special, just getting the fundamentals going. We're training at the moment. I'm taking the guys on Saturday for the park run because I think it's also important to be seen by the community and to get the boys out. You know, instead of sitting on Saturday morning doing nothing,
100%.
they're out. The other guys are playing cricket and the rugby guys. So if you guys want to come and join us for a park run, we'll see you guys on Saturday morning. Miles, see you there.
I'll be 100% there.
I'm sure we can video you getting right to the front there with some of the boys. But yeah, you know, it's you can definitely see that the guys have been out of business for 2 years.
Yeah.
But
So 'n week nou op die oomblik met die graad 7's van 2 jaar terug.
yeah. Ja.
Hy is soos die kinders wat nou weer skool
Ja.
gekom het. So hy's 'n moeilike taak.
Nee, yes, en dis ook wat ek sê, is, jy weet. Dis heeltemal anders.
And I mean, like you also said, you're more like also the father figure because, I mean, COVID also impacted,
Yeah,
like there's a
big
lot of stuff happening mentally
time.
as well.
Yeah, no,
so, I
definitely.
mean, like, and we're all in a new age now with rugby, so it's not just fitness. What is your view on, like, also that mental health with the kids in rugby? Because kids are taking it too serious. For me personally, like, the sport is becoming too serious, but also they also have big dreams to become professional. But what is your view on that and what you're doing?
Yeah, I think mental toughness, you know, has become a massive thing. It always has been for me, you know. You've got to prepare, you know, mentally. You've got to get everybody sort of prepared and working hard because, like you say, after 2 years now of sitting around, not having sport, going to school, sometimes not going to school, then going home, and then, you know, literally there's nothing for that time. Now suddenly you're sort of cramming back in again. You know, you've got cricket practice, you've got swimming, you've got this and that. So, I mean, it's like us getting back into jogging again or training in after a while. You know, you don't really feel like getting up in the morning and going for a run. It's the same with them, you know, they're going through the same thing. So for me, it's been about trying to just get into their heads, you know, trying to sort of build that mental toughness and resilience with them and sort of get them going. That's why we do the park run and different things, because you don't just want to get them on the line and just run them all the time. You know, you want to sort of be diverse and have different things, doing different things with them, just to get them back going again and moving.
And as a coach, talent versus a hard worker.
Oh, it's awesome to have both of those together in one. But, you know, like that saying say, you know, like hard work will always trump that talent. You know, if talent doesn't work hard. So, you know, that's the big thing. And I've seen so many talented youngsters before in my life. Hulle kom in so talentvol, hulle weet dit, maar hulle werk nie hard nie. Hulle voel hulle gaan net opdaag. Hulle gaan net opdaag met 'n natuurlike talent and they just feel like, wow, you know, I just have to pitch up. And eventually the hard worker adapts that same talent plus the hard work and he just, you know, he just dominates the scene.
Dis seker een vir hom so voor so 'n boys first and coach so was daar moes rituals en boys geweest.
Ja.
Moet zo'n aangepaste ritual of het zo'n...
Ja, ek hou nou weer daarvan om my eie goeders te doen. Ja, ek hou daarvan om my eie goeders te doen. Ek weet elke ou het maar sy nikke en stote en stampe, maar ek hou daarvan om my eie ding te bou om die seuns. Ek hou daarvan, ja, ek hou daarvan om 'n omgewing te bou wat lekker is vir almal. So ja, ek kan nie coaches aanhou of doen wat 'n ander ou doen nie. So ek kom in en maak maar my eie spasie, jy weet, saam met my coaches besluit ons wat gaan ons anders te doen.
Yeah, so I mean, you left Boyside to go to Provincial, so you went to Lions and Sharks and VP, but you ended up as a Lions.
Yeah.
What's the biggest eye-opener from school level rugby, also quite professional, up until the provincial level, which is also professional, where people get paid to play?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things, I was very blessed to get an opportunity to quickly move up to Currie Cup and then to Super Rugby with the Lions. And we were, before COVID hit, we were overseas for a 4-week tour for Super Rugby. And we played in Sydney, we played the Waratahs first, and yes, I promise you, just sitting in the hotel room that night, busy doing analysis, I was like, wow, you know, the level is just, it's just crazy. The detail is just crazy, you know. And then I remember losing against the Blues in Eden Park in Auckland, and afterwards just sort of quickly brushing past the coaches and the attack coach going like, yeah, this guy and this guy is always out of position on defense, so we attacked like this because of this guy and this guy. And I thought,
Next level.
it's just, you know, the learning is just, it's just that quick, and that, you know, those guys are just next level. I mean, and I said, you know, we're a very young Lions team, and I always believe that team just needs more time to sort of come through. But standing in the tunnel there's like 3/4 of an all-black team.
Yeah.
You know, and we had some guys making their debuts, and, you know, like the guys are like looking to the left and going like, wow, I've just seen you at a test series playing against the Aussies and the Springboks, and here you are, yeah, we're playing against you. So, yeah, I think the level of the intelligence level and how accurate the players are there, I mean, those guys don't earn big money for nothing. They are super professional. I always say to people, like, probably one of the most professional people I've ever worked with at that level is Elton Yankees. You know, just when you sort of work with guys like that, you realize, like, okay, that is why they earn big money. That is why they do well, because they're just super professional. You know, the environment is just super professional.
So, wat so nou praat van om te sê, hy sit lyn. Was coach by Virginia geweest, was Jan Oberholster geweest.
Ja, ja.
Ja, daai man as eerste van skoolvlak af na die akademie toe. Daai man kan vir jou presies sê hoeveel bolle hy aangeslaan het.
Ja.
Hoeveel mistakes het hy gemaak. Nou kyk jy, nou tel sy. Ek dink dit wat self.
Ja.
So hy's 'n groot aanpassing as iemand vir jou sê, alright, hy 10 mistakes gemaak, 3 bolle genoem.
Ja.
En sy was soveel keer in die backline geweest, maar sy moet in die pak geweest.
Ja, nee, is it next level.
And just quickly, nowadays everything is data. I mean, the people can be tracked. I think you got this thing.
Yeah,
that you,
yeah, GPS, everything.
I mean, that type of information after every match, it must be so much because you can actually track. So, I mean, just the analysis of that data and what's happening in the background, how much information is gathered on like one match? Because I can imagine it's video footage, it's audio footage, it's this tracking.
No, like you can easily say analysis paralysis, you know, because if you go too deep into it, you can get lost in it.
Yeah.
But every player is wearing a GPS pod now on the back of his jersey, so you can read impact, you can see at what impact he's hitting, you can see how many meters he's covering, you can see where he's run, what he's done. So, you know, when you go to a guy afterwards and you say, yes, well done, you had a goeie game gehad, you know, or you come to me and say, I thought you had a good game, but you said I didn't. Then when you pull up that sheet, you can literally say, you only covered X amount of kilometers, you've only done this, you only did this guy did 10, you did 5 kilometers. So we can see, and then based on that, the conditioning coaches, obviously with us as well, Rainer Rust, our conditioning coach, he works out the load for all the players for the week, so that we don't overload them, you know, because you can easily overrun the guys and kill them with that. So he works out everything exactly to that GPS pod, how much training we should do and what we should do. Yeah,
It's massive. Probably changes rugby coaching.
No,
on another
definitely,
level.
definitely.
So
From the old VHS tape to GPS pods.
So if a player says, coach, ik is moeg, you can say, but you only ran 500 meters.
100%. And at pro level, I say to people, we played against the British and Irish Lions. They had 2 52-seater buses just with staff. Just with staff arriving there. So when they arrived at Ellis Park, when they set up all their technology, when you ask, they just say literally on field, the conditioning coach can tell the coach which player is busy performing, where he should be and which is not, so the coach can make subs on live information immediately right there on the game. So it's crazy. Technology is crazy.
No, I can imagine. Who's the mastermind in rugby in South Africa and in the world currently? First South Africa, then in the world for you.
Well, I think, obviously can't look too far to our own people, Jock, Ninabe and Rassie. They're doing extremely well. I don't think you become number one in the world that easily without doing the right stuff. So I think, Jock and Rassie and the Springboks at the moment, they're really doing amazing stuff. And, it's always nice because you can they're open to people. Jock is approachable. You can actually talk and gain knowledge from. So I think they're right up there. People like Eddie Jones I've always admired because he's like one of those guys who's what jy sê, jy kan vir Eddie vra 1995 wat het daar gebeur en dan sal Eddie sê daai ou 10 tackles gemaak, daai ou sê just a different crazy mindset with where they are. And then obviously just that I've been very blessed to have 2 opportunities to go over to New Zealand and go and learn there. Just the approach, the whole world's rugby approach is different. But people that I'd say that you sort of got to watch now coming through is the French and the Irish. Just see the French and the Irish are just playing a different brand of rugby at the moment.
Yeah, the top Six Nations,
they're going for their Grand Slam.
I wanted to ask you as well, because I've also heard that in New Zealand, the school rugby and the provincial rugby, they all the coaches speak together because they want. That's not the same in South Africa.
No, they've got a guy they call him an RDO, Regional Development Officer, and his job is per region. Like let's say Paul, Wellington, and Franschhoek. Now we'd have one RDO.
Okay.
His job would be just to relay all the information from Rassie and Jock, all the way down to all the coaches, all the clubs here, all the new trends, everything. And I remember one of the RDOs was on the course with me and he said to me, come, let me go and show you where I work. And we drove and there was this big container on the side of the road that was like his middle point for where his area that he's working. And he opened it up and it was just coaching material. Just shelves and shelves full of DVDs, CDs, coaching material, books, just anything you wanted to know about All Black rugby at that time from grassroots level all the way to the top. And he was like, help yourself. And I remember leaving like a bag of clothes behind because I had all these books and stuff that I brought back. So I think, there's still that big need that we have that line from the top to the bottom sort of coming through. And I think it is a lot harder because South Africa is a massive country and we've got triple the amount of rugby
100%.
players. But that would be the ideal place, is to build academies and have those regional development officers that sort of relay that information, because there's a massive hunger for knowledge in rugby at the moment.
Yeah, and of course also I think in South Africa each union has got their own style of rugby. So people know global rugby, VP rugby.
Yeah.
Most impressive player you've coached?
Wow. Like I said, at professional level, working with guys like Elton and them, they're a really special bunch of guys. Schoolboy, it's really hard because, Evan Roos and them are, they next level. Franco Horn, Boeta Chamberlain with the Sharks, Takir Abrams with the Sharks at the moment.
Salman also who you coach?
I was about to say, probably the person, I really got a lot of respect for Salman. I've always said to people, I think he's a future Springbok captain. He's a good man. I have fond memories of Salman before a game with little boys like this from Claim Boys in the community, taking them into our change room at first team level and showing them what we do. And he's a good man. He comes from a good family. I have a lot of respect for him. So definitely somebody that I say you must look out for.
Okay, cool. Except of course everybody wants to be a Springbok coach. What else are the big dreams?
Yeah, at the moment, I just want my family to come first. That's why we came back to Paarl. We just got to find our feet again as a family and just get back to loving doing what we did. Joburg is a tough place. You're very far away from everything, and we went there alone. So it's just nice to be back here in community and have the support system again, being back in Paarl. The rest of it, just leaving that up to God. He's got a path for me. He's sort of showing me different doors at different times.
Yeah.
So, but what I really want to do now is just get back and get myself properly covered in blue all the way. Get the boys boys up and going after COVID. The team actually did quite well in the last couple of years, so I'm just really keen to get going with them and really push hard.
And when you start, when's the first game? What's happening?
Yeah, we're playing 12th of March. We're playing at Porterville, so we're actually going to play a district team there, Boland district team there. Nice. So I'm really excited because once again, it's going to give me an opportunity to look at that talent and see what's happening there. And then we go straight into a couple of chukkers, and then the end of March is our first big tournament in Pretoria, the Noordside Rugby Tournament, where all the schools go. And then from there, there's non-stop until the 30th of July when it's the big one in Forest Street.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get a lot of calls from scouts and say, hey, Sean, we see this player.
Yeah,
Tell me
definitely.
that process, because, I mean, that's all in the background.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of guys will phone and ask about it, and once again, for me, that's a massive privilege and a real big kudos on the school, for the school, when people phone and ask about our players, because that's actually what you want to do. You know, you want the boy to go all the way through and one day wear green and gold and talk about his time at Boys Eye. You know, that's sort of where I am with my mindset with that. So, yeah, a lot of people phone and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that guy? You know, I think Saru've done really well. They've got an early player development program as well, and they've got guys like Herman Masimla and Nico Sarfontein that run that. So it's also nice to hear from them when they say, you know, what do you think of this boy? What do you think of this boy? So, yeah, and we've got a couple of boys that Western Province at the moment have in their high-performance structures.
Wow.
So it's nice to get that phone call and hear that the boys are doing well.
Yeah. So we always ask the guests before they leave, your Springbok team 9 to 15, currently at the current, what we have, the pool of talent and who are playing currently, URC, overseas, and so from 9 to 15.
Ja.
Yes, you're putting me under pressure here because
no
I'm
boys
actually
are.
a forwards coach. No boys are. No, well, testing. No, I mean, I think obviously as they've got the Springbok team at the moment, they've sort of got it right. So yeah, I'd probably go with Herschel. I still believe, and a guy like Elton and Andre at 10, it would be sort of a toss-up for me. Depends how you want to play. The centre pair with Lucania and with Damien is for me a nice pair because they really do well there. Mapimpi, just because of his ability, just his ability at the moment in the air and in the way that he's grown is amazing for me. Fullback, I'd like to see Warwick come through. I'd like to see Fassi come through. The nice thing about Villy is Villy just brings so much leadership and stability. You know, whether we like it or not, you need at that level you need a hard beard, an old man there doing the thing, and you know, you sort of need that. And then who would we put on the other wing? Wie sal ons op die ander vleuel speel? There's so many good wings at the moment. Yeah. That's the thing is, there's just so many good wings at the moment. So Cebu with the Sharks, you know, they make good reads. And I mean, I'm talking about defensive patterns. Jock likes those wings to make good reads and make good decisions on the edge. So there's a couple of guys there. You actually put me on the spot with that last wing. But
Okay, but Sean, thanks so much. Good luck for this year. I mean, this is massive for you. I think the pressure, like, it's probably not on you because you say you're like a family team, so that's on the team. Good luck with inter-schools because I think this year there's a hunger.
30th July.
30th July.
Yeah, it's a week closer now. It was always the first weekend in August, but
so I'm sure this year it's probably going to be bigger than ever because so many people.
Ik heb altijd die game gekeken, maar ik was een middelman. Ik heb nooit support boys with my. Ik was no boys.
Yes, man. And I'm just saying that the week before, I'll be paying special attention to your program then because you're going to be wearing blue that week.
Definitely.
Something blue.
Yeah,
and if you want to borrow something blue, please come and see us, and we'll make sure that you have something special blue.
Soos 'n blou draad dink ek sal daar nooit na sou.
Sure. But thanks so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy, man. And then, thanks Dean, thanks Judith, thanks Breitenbach Center, Anna, and then also to Lee. Thanks so much. Yeah, guys. So. All of you, thanks for joining. Of course, you can see this later on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever we're going to post it. And then we'll see you on Tuesday at 8 a.m. again, hopefully. We always try and stay on time. But like Sean says, traffic in Paarl on traffic on the main road is it's a bit wild. So, we'll see you on Tuesday morning early. Bye-bye.
Awesome.